Hi everyone, my name is Ann Wasserman. I'm here today to announce a couple of new lectures that I've been putting together. I teach virtually. I lecture mostly on quilt history topics and restoration and conservation of old quilts, which I've been doing for 40 years now. I've been updating an older lecture with new information and also writing a whole brand new one, and I'm going to tell you about them next. A complete list of my lectures is on my website, the link below. You can also go there to participate in other things I do, such as subscribe to my newsletter or my blog, or both. This lecture is titled Quilters of the 1800s, American Women Creating Art at Home. I've been updating this one that I wrote a long time ago, adding new ideas and new information from all the virtual lectures I've been going to these last few years. That's one exciting and actually happy thing I can definitely put to living during a pandemic. It's been like having a wonderful quilt university that comes right to my house. Historically, a woman's expression of her artistic talents were confined mostly to the home and often to the needle arts. This is a sod house that's in South Dakota that's been converted to a little museum. This lecture begins by exploring quilt making in the context of the family, of groups of women, and of society as a whole. The embroidered text reads, Harriet Louisa Young's quilt, age 22 years, South Venice, New York, 1842. Then, since the 1970s, antique quilts took on a new role as they began to be hung on the wall and appreciated as art objects. The talents of usually anonymous quilt makers in the 1800s are discussed in this context in terms of color, balance, design, and so on. This lecture is called Saving History One Quilt at a Time. I also have been creating a new lecture that highlights a name-inscribed quilt that came to me for repairs and ended up staying with me as a quilt history project. I learned that the quilt was made in the late 1890s near Boston in Melrose, Massachusetts. The quilt has lots of tales to tell. There are loads of interesting stories about the people named on the quilt. Eunice B. Finney was married to the town doctor. The marriage was his second and her first. They were nearly 20 years apart in age. Her niece and a brother and a sister lived in Melrose, too. The repairs I made to the quilt. The damage was mostly wear like this around the edges. Happily, none of the inscribed pieces of fabric have this kind of damage. The quilt and I have had quite a journey, from having had the quilt gifted to me to being part of a weekend gala, bringing the quilt back to its home. This is the house where Eunice Finney's sister, Sarah Lavender, lived with her daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren. Okay, thanks very much for listening in. I hope you find something here that will interest you or your guild or some other place that might love to learn something about quilts and hear something maybe they've never heard about before. So please do get in touch. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.